Welcome to the Chasing Green Live Show. Appreciate you joining me, all you guys who are rewatching. We got a great guest tonight, Brian Terry, co-owner, co-founder of High and Dry Waders, and he's going to be sharing his deep insight into the wader industry, all things waders, and of course, we're going to be talking some ducking as well. Plus, we're going to be giving away a free pair of High and Dry Waders, so you're not going to want to miss that. But we're just going to jump right into this thing. We got Brian with us tonight, and Brian, I wanted to start out asking you, how did you find yourself in the wader industry? How did you end up with a wader company?
Well, first off, Jake, thanks very much for having me on. Really appreciate this and appreciate all you do for us. And it's a great opportunity. But I found myself in the wader industry, not even thinking for once to be into the duck hunting wader community. My family is a long history of aquaculture here on the Eastern Shore of Virginia. I'm actually a fourth generation aquaculturist, and we hatchery produce and farm raise clams here on the Eastern Shore of Virginia. And with that type of occupation, you're in the water 7 days a week. And a wader is just like Craftsman or Snap Tight or a Snap-on wrench is to a mechanic. You've got to have it. So bottom line, it was out of necessity after years of having inadequate products to handle the environment to which we work in, drove me to get into manufacturing a product that could withstand the type of abuse and the environment and the workload that we need and require from a pair of chest waders, to bottom line, to keep us safe at what we're doing to make money.
Sure. So you kind of had the same problem that most duck hunters have. You couldn't stay dry on waders, so you set out to make your own wader.
100%. And, with, the difference with duck hunting and working, duck hunting is primarily, unless you're a guide, it is a recreation. Working is an occupation. So I can't have any of myself, any employees, anybody out there that is working, they get a hole or their seam fails, they get a hole in their waders. They can't just say, "Oh, I'm cold, I'm going home." They have to figure out a way to pony up and work through the tide to be able to work and get the job done that needs to get done for that day.
Sure.
So after, failed waders from every aspect you could imagine, and years of inadequate products, finally it was time for somebody that had a little bit of experience in manufacturing and lots of experience in real life scenarios to step up to the plate and fix an industry that basically needed an awakening.
Sure. So that's a good segue into what did you set out to make? How are you going to make the perfect wader? What makes a wader great, and how have you tried to achieve that?
Well, it's one of the simple things, I guess, is, we didn't want to reinvent the wheel. We just wanted to make the wheel better. And we still have not made the perfect wader. We've made a wader that is far superior, in my opinion, than anything else that you can purchase on the market today. But the main goal was to produce a product that could, number one, keep all myself and all the guys that worked with me, for me, and in the aquaculture industry safe. Because safety at the end of the day is a pretty important part. Because, in the middle of winter, when it's, 20 degrees or below, and you're 15 miles from a boat ride of 15 miles back to the dock, you get wet and you can die of hypothermia quickly.
Sure.
So the most valuable idea that I had was to find a way to improve, the most important part of anybody working in aquaculture, their number one gear, which is a pair of chest waders.
Sure. Well, guys, I appreciate you. Everybody who's jumping in right now. We're going to get to your questions just here in a little bit. I've got a few questions for myself, for Brian, but we are going to be giving away the waders. So just stay tuned, hang tight. Somebody's going to be walking away tonight with a free pair of high and dry waders. But Brian's got a great story of how he got into the wader industry. And I want to hear a little bit more of what he's learned over all this time. And that kind of brings me to my next point. One thing that I really love about the waders is that they're simple. They don't have all the bells and whistles that some of the other companies have, which, as you've told me, leads to leaks because they're poking more holes in it. So explain why high and dry waders don't have insulation.
Well, number one, there's actually really two good reasons. Number one is having a simple, basic fabric. We have a 4-layer breathable fabric, and then we also have a 5mm neoprene fabric for our wader construction. And then not having any type of liner or any other type of additive to that product, it allows you to be able to find where you have accidentally punctured and put a hole in your product. The biggest thing, in my opinion, is that a wader is designed to, number one, designed to do two jobs. Number one, keep you dry. And then number two, keep you comfortable. All the other, warmth, I guess warmth is the other big one. And that's, layer up, there's plenty of, we make a 2-layer system for a layering system, which are a really nice complement of our wader. There are also an enormous amount of other manufacturers out there that make really great layering systems that allow you to layer up or layer down depending on the time of year.
Gotcha.
Excuse me. So with having a breathable fabric with no insulation, it gives you versatility to be able to wear a pair of waders in the summer when it's 90 degrees, and also in the winter when it's -9 degrees. And it's just what you wear underneath it to complement the wader that will allow your body and your core to stay warm or cool depending on the time of year and the temperatures.
Gotcha. So with not having insulation, let's move on to breathable versus neoprene. You make both, you offer both. What's the pros and cons of each? And if a guy's considering which one he should get, how would you lay that out for him?
In all honesty, it's preference. I mean, that's basically the long and short of it. It's what you are looking for in a chest wader. If you want something that is, going to keep you warm and something that is not going to breathe, it's going to maintain your warmth. For example, if you're in Michigan and your hunting scenario is standing in water waist deep to belly button deep for 3 to 4 hours, I would suggest going with a neoprene wader. It's not going to breathe. It's going to maintain all your body temperature and all your warmth and keep you warmer than a breathable fabric will. But if you're walking more, just like, for example, what you do, you hunt a lot of public land. 90% of everything you hunt is public. So you're used to having to walk miles. I know we've hunted together before in the past, and I think our longest day was upwards of 6 miles that we walked. And when you're doing that, you're going to generate heat, sweat. And as everybody knows, once you start sweating, then you stop and you stand and you sit for hours, you're going to get cold. That moisture is going to turn into a negative instead of a positive. So having a breathable wader that can wick moisture and get away from your body is very important. But if you're in a freezing temperature environment where you're not exerting a whole lot of energy other than just, for example, throwing some decoys out, a neoprene wader may be a better option for you.
What about durability out of the two? Which one's going to be more durable?
And that's kind of a catch-22 on that as far as durability goes. I mean, it goes back to the fabric. I mean, the neoprene has 5 millimeters of durability, if you will. You've got to penetrate that thickness, which is about that thick of neoprene, before you're going to actually get wet. a breathable fabric is, our 4-layer breathable fabric is very thin. So puncturing that is a lot easier to do than necessarily a neoprene product. However, our blend of materials and the fabrics we use are very durable and comparable, if not superior, than other products that are currently on the market today.
Sure. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I've worn several different brands of breathables, and you guys' material is definitely the toughest I've seen. I have yet to poke a hole. I've been wearing them for 3 years, and I go through some pretty gnarly stuff. So that's saying something in my world. But as far as the seams go and the stitching and all that, it's going to be about the same, neoprene versus breathable.
Well, not when you're dealing with us. We have, our neoprene wader has a 6-layer seam sealing technology. Our breathable wader has a 4-layer seam sealing technology. So there's a little difference as far as layering goes on how we protect our seams. But I can't speak of what everybody else does in the marketplace.
So overall, just with you guys, your neoprene is going to be a little bit more durable overall than the breathable, but the breathable.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, moving on from there, a lot of people talk about nowadays American made, USA made, and really it's kind of unknown that nobody actually in the wader industry is USA made, and neither are you guys. Can you talk a little bit on why you're not and why nobody else is, and kind of how that false narrative has come to be with some companies?
I don't think we have enough time to get to really dig into all of it. However, I'll scratch the surface. We're one of few that I'm very proud of the U.S. I'm very proud of our U.S. soccer team actually today, winning 1-0. So a little shout out to the World Cup. We love everything going on here in the U.S. We would love for our waders to be made here. But it just boils down to brass tactics. We are not living in a time anymore where, we're just a sole country. There is a world out there, and there are people in the world that really do well and excel at certain things. And one of the big things that Ian and I have done is we've scoured the globe. We buy stuff from the U.S. We buy products that are manufactured here, and we just assemble everything over in China. It's, that technology we pretty much handed over roughly about 50 years ago, and they took off with it. And for us to do it here in the U.S. and compete in a retail environment would essentially make our waders cost roughly around $1,500 to $2,000 a pair. Which is, outrageous. And there are a few companies that get around some tariffs and do things and import a wader and have the boot assembled here in the U.S. But currently, in 2022, there is not a single wader manufacturer that is 100% assembled and manufactured here in the U.S.
Gotcha. Yeah, I figured, that was kind of the thing. That's the problem with everything right now. Just it comes down to cost, and I knew you guys were going to do the best thing possible to get the best price possible, and that's what I love about the waders. You got what's the retail price right now on the breathables?
So we're at $349.
$349. Yeah, you could buy 3 pair of those for what some of these other brands are going, and I guarantee you they're going to last a long time if you had 2 or 3 pair. So, absolutely. Moving in from there, what about? I've heard some people talk about one of really the only complaints I've heard about the waders is the straps. Somebody just mentioned in the comments earlier that the straps could use improvement. Are there plans to change those around or to go a different direction with those?
We're looking at some various options. One thing that I still want to stress is, we are a we're an industrial grade product. We came from the aquaculture industry. And with that being in mind, that is our preface and our mindset of our construction of our products. We need something that is very durable, that can hold up, that may not or may, translate and correlate with the duck hunting community, the fishing community. There's, people wear waders for multiple reasons. So are there other options out there? Are we constantly trying to innovate, and are we constantly trying to improve and alter our product? Yes. The answer is 100%. We are continually looking at different strap material, different buckle styles, different ways to improve, to satisfy the masses. And when it will come out, we're not sure, but the answer is along a roundabout way. Yes, we are looking at doing and improving the strap for the avid duck hunter.
So the reason why the straps are like they are now is because that's the most durable option, going back to the industry or the industrial side of things.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yep. So, they're a thick nylon strap. That the biggest thing for us, one thing that a lot of people do ask, and I will throw this in there, is we make our straps extremely long. And a lot of people are curious as what to do with them because they're so long and they're annoying. Just once you get your wader kind of adjusted that fits you right, give yourself about 3 to 4 inches, maybe 5, whatever you want. Cut the remainder off and burn the tips so they don't fray. Given it's just like cutting a piece of wood. You measure twice and cut once. With a strap, you can't add material once you cut it. So we like to make them longer, and then that way that you can remove the excess. But once you have that product, you can't add the strap length to it.
Great. Good stuff. Good stuff. So I see a lot of you guys in the comments. We are going to be doing the giveaway tonight. I've got a few more things I want to talk to Brian about, but if you got any wader questions, hold on to them. Get ready to ask him, because he's got all the answers when it comes to waders, which is one of the main things I want to talk to him about, and that's wader repair. How many pairs of waders, just guessing, do you think you've repaired in your life?
I don't even want to throw a number out. A lot.
Yeah, it has to be in the thousands, right?
Well over thousands, absolutely.
Yeah, he's repaired thousands of pairs of employees, waders over all his years. So what have you learned in that process? What's the best way to repair specifically breathable waders? What's kind of your process for that?
My process, and coming from, again, being in the aquaculture business and being around boats my entire life, 3M, which is a world-known company, makes a marine sealant. And they make different variations of their marine sealant. And from us using that in the boating world, I was kind of teetering with it. I want to say probably 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And I'm like, you know what? I wonder if this stuff will hold up on fabrics. And come to find out, they're 3M. They make a 5200. They make a 5200 fast cure. And we use a 3M marine sealant called 4000 UV that we get them to make for us in a matte black. That is very simple, very easy to use. We actually have a way to repair video on YouTube that is it's my 10-year-old son can repair a pair of waders now. Essentially, we recommend that anybody they're looking for their leaks, and because we don't have liners, we don't have stitched in insulation. It's just a plain fabric. You turn your wader inside out, hang it from a structure, fill it with water, and then because of the pressure the water is trying to escape and get out, that will show you where your leak is. Circle it with a magic marker, and then let your wader dump the water out. Let your wader dry for 2 to 3 hours, and then take your marine sealant and massage it into that area where the hole is. Let it cure overnight, and you're fixed, and you're back to work. Or back to
I can definitely. Yeah, I can attest to that. 5200, 3M 5200, or 4000, either one. It's the way to go. I mean, it's the only thing I've ever found that remains that flexible and doesn't harden and crack. It remains flexible, and it's perfect for repairing waders, and it's worked every
It's
time.
got a lot. It's durable. It's got durability, dexterity. It's got everything, because you can imagine on a boat, the vibration of a boat kind of bending and flexing. You've got to have a glue that doesn't crack, and from all multiple temperatures, from let's say minus 10 degrees upwards to 115 degrees. So that glue it's very impressive.
Yeah, for sure. Well, how about this? It seems like really over the past 2 or 3 years that wader companies have just been popping up left and right. It seems like 2 or 3 more pop up every year. And, the average duck hunter or any duck hunter is just hit with so many options. Why should he choose high and dry? What separates you guys?
Well, because you and I both wear them.
Well, yeah, but why do we wear them?
No, the reason, my biggest thing is, I'm not trying to throw a sales pitch or do anything like that. The reason is, one of the biggest things is, we are who we are. Ian and I are not two buddies that decided to say, hey, man, it'd be fun to make some waders. We're not a company out there that just has made all kinds of, apparel, clothing, and decided to be like, okay, we're going to expand in this market. We are a 100% wader company, and we got started manufacturing waders, and we made waders out of necessity because nothing was available at the time to purchase that could withstand the environments that we were in on a daily basis. So at the end of the day, bottom line is, we know what we produce and we stand behind it. And we also realize that cost is a factor, and which is the main reason why we are 100% an e-commerce company, because we want to be able to allow everyone who wants to be in aquaculture, agriculture, duck hunting, fishing, surf fishing, fly fishing, you name it, any deer hunting, anything that somebody needs to do and wants to do outdoors in a chest wader, we want to make it financially feasible for them to be able to do so and enjoy their time doing it.
Awesome. Well, they've definitely done the job for me, so I've loved them. We got a couple of questions here that I want to get to, if I can keep up with them. So before I do that, though, we are going to be giving away a pair. Just hold tight. I'm going to give the instructions of that later in the live stream, and it'll be very clear how you're supposed to do that. So you won't miss it. Just hold tight. This guy asked, are the waders a true fit? Explain kind of the fit and the sizing of these, because what I found is that which one thing I loved, at least in the regular size, they have different sizes like stouts or talls and kings and all that. But in the regular, they're very athletic fitting. They're very tight. There's no wasted space. Like you said, they're made to work in, and I feel like I can work in them. I can walk all day long in them. So explain a little bit about the fit.
Well, the fit is everything. It goes back to one of our main things that we feel about our wader, and that's comfort. So if you have a lot of excess material and you have baggy, fabric all rubbing around, and it's just going to annoy you and get in the way. So it's a huge expense on our end to have our sizing chart. So we have a regular, we have a stout, we have a tall, and we have a big, and the majority of all of our major sizes. So what our job and our responsibility to do to our customers and people that are in our products is try to get them outfitted properly so that the wader actually not only fits their foot, it fits the rest of their body as well. And it's been a challenge to do so. It's a lot to go through. It's a lot to undertake to try to fit the masses of everybody, because we're all different. I'm 6'4", 215, and I have a extremely large torso. My legs aren't as long as, most people of my height. So I'm this tall, that tall. I mean, Ian's 5'4". So, we're the yin and the yang as far as sizing. He's never been able to have waders that fit him. I've never been able to have waders that fit me. It's just, we're not common sizes. And, we care about the people that aren't. And, the guys that my father's 6'10" and a 15 shoe. And, he's, never been able to have a pair of waders that fit him, but now he does.
So talk about what you usually tell people to do. And this is important on your waders. If anybody out there is thinking about getting high and dry, it's important you listen to what do you tell them how to measure themselves?
The biggest thing is do not go off of other manufacturer sizing, because we are not anywhere near any other manufacturing size guideline. We curtail every single wader to fit. We build it separately for each individual size. So currently the smallest size we make is a size 7 shoe. So when you're measuring yourself to figure out what size you would be for our wader, start with your boot. The boot is where you begin. Once you know your shoe size, and our boots are very true to size. If whatever boot size you currently wear, i.e. a muck boot, a hook, any type of boot, shoe, a Schnee's boot, anybody out there, we're pretty much tick for tack with those style boots. And then once you go from there, then you need to know your height, your weight, your inseam, and your chest. Those are the other 4 measurements that are very, very important. And we have all this on our FAQ section and on our website. And it's very explicit on how to go ahead and take your measurements and how to size yourself.
The chest is key on these. The chest is real tight. There's no wasted space. So measure with your duck hunt jacket on.
Thank you for saying that, because that's right. Because keep in mind, when you go measure yourself, if you're measuring yourself and you're in your boxers and a t-shirt, your measurements are going to be far skewed as you are when you're putting on your clothes and apparel to wear underneath your wader.
Yeah. Gotcha. Chris asked, what kind of warranty do they have?
So we have a 1-year manufacturer's warranty. Our mindset is literally, if it's something we have screwed up on our end at our factory, it will show its face typically within the first week or 2. Anything after that, we're honest. It is what it is. You've put a hole in it, and just be honest with us. We'll help you. We'll be more than happy to assist in fixing your waders. But at the end of the day, if it is something that is a manufacturer's defect, send it back to us. We have a wader return policy on our homepage, all the way down at the bottom of that page. Fill the form out. Let us know what's going on. Be truthful. Don't try to pull one over on us, because I can promise you're not getting one by me. I've been around this a long time. I don't play.
Gotcha.
But if it's our fault, we own it 100%, and we'll send you a brand new pair. We refund all the shipping back and forth. But if it's something you did, we're a very conscientious company. We care about our customers. If it's something you did and you didn't realize it, we'll fix it and ship it back to you on our accord. So we do our best to really help everybody out. And, then just we're completely honest and upfront.
Yeah. I've gathered that from being around you. You really pour in all the customers, and you and Ian really. Do you still talk to all the customers? If somebody calls, they're talking to you, right? Or that's how it's been for a long time. You finally delegated that out.
It's still not easy. We love what we do. We really do. We really care about our customers. We really care about the people that care about us. And at the end of the day, if somebody wants to talk to me, call me.
Yeah.
Call and ask. Ian, we're available. Don't call us on Christmas Day or Thanksgiving Day. You're going to get blocked.
I know last time we went duck hunting, half the day was you talking to customers and handling customer service. So glad to hear you got some help with that.
Yeah, we do. We have some really good people that are just as passionate and knowledgeable. It's we're again, it's just like our waders and our company. We're all the same. We're an open book.
Sure. Well, Lynn asks, what about the boot? And I'll say the first thing that stood out other than the fit when I very first put these waders on was the boot. And just about anybody I've had try them on, they all say the same thing. The boot is just so comfortable, and it's very obvious it was made by somebody who stands in them all day, works in them all day. You know, they're made to be comfortable. And talk about the boot a little bit and how it's a little bit different, you know, how you guys do the installation a little bit differently and all that good stuff.
Well, unfortunately, I'm only going to be able to talk about so much. One of the things that we're very proud of is our boot, and like I said in the beginning, you know, comfort is a huge part of what we do. And coming from somebody like you that walks I couldn't even imagine how many miles you walk into duck season.
Too many.
A lot, way too. You know, as we joke, you have issues, but
any boat sponsors out there, we're open.
That's it. You know, you need a hoverboard.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Thinsulate is a great warming agent. There's a lot of other warming agents. We're one of very few people that actually insulates and, cares about the entire boot. I will say this, our boots are 100% neoprene lined, depending on the gram of insulation that you want, either 800 or 1500 gram, depends on the thickness of the neoprene. But, we use a 3-blend technology that keeps the entire boot warm.
Yeah. And I noticed that for sure. I mean, I wore a couple other pair just to have comparison after wearing you guys for a while. And even your lightweight boot was warmer than some of the higher, 1500 milligrams of other companies. Mm-hmm. It was super obvious.
The other thing too is I want to tell you, Jake, and everybody else that, even though we do go up to a 1500 gram equivalent is what we call it, it's a very warm boot, but it's not one of those big moon boots that you're used to seeing from other manufacturers. Our 800 gram boot versus our 1500 gram boot is a 3-ounce difference in weight. Visually, you can't tell the difference. So as far as walking, mobility, the whole 9 yards with utilizing our products are very, very friendly, user-friendly.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm going to take a minute to pause and go ahead and tell everybody what they've got to do to enter the giveaway. So we're going to do something a little different this time. And I'm going to run this for a week. So you'll have 7 days. If you're rewatching this, don't think it's too late. 7 days after the 29th is when I'm going to randomly pick a winner. I need you to email chasinggreenmedia@gmail.com. I'm not going to take your email or any of your information. That's just the easiest way for me to do it. And I want you to email what you want to see this upcoming duck season on my channel. What kind of content do you want to see? What are you interested in? What do you like best in my videos? So let me know that, just a short email. And if you win, I'll pick a winner in 7 days. And if you win, I'll email you back. That'll be the only way I'll contact you is through that email. So I'm not going to announce it on the channel or anything. Just be looking in your email and I will email you back and get your size and what you want and all that stuff. And so yeah, just email chasinggreenmedia@gmail.com, MEDIA@gmail.com. And we'll get some lucky guy fixed up or some lucky person, guy or girl. But I got a lot of questions pouring in here. I'm trying to keep up with them. A lot of people are asking about half sizes. They wear 12.5 or 8.5. Do they go up or down?
It's all preference, and that's not an easy cut and dry answer. What they need to do is look at the sizing chart, and depend on what the upper of their body is. I mean, you got to keep in mind when you're sizing a chest wader, you're putting together a shoe, a pant, and then a midsection fabric all in one. So there's a lot of variables to that sizing.
Yeah, it's like trying to pick out a pair of shoes and then get the same jacket size off that pair of shoes. It's like hard to do. Yeah.
So, it all depends on, and then it also goes on to the fact of what they're doing, where they are, temperatures, because at the end of the day, if you have a boot that's way too tight, I don't care how much insulation or whatever type of material you use, if there is no room in that boot to maintain warmth to circulate around your foot, then your foot is going to stay in contact with the upper and the lower part of that material, whether it be rubber or anything else. It's going to, over time, turn into the actual temperature of the outside of that shoe. So you need some room in that shoe to allow for your warmth to stay in there.
So a little bit bigger boot's going to be warmer, but on your site, in your sizing chart and your questions and everything, it'll help somebody who's a half size. They just need to follow that.
Absolutely. And if they're still confused, call us, email us. We've got a staff. We're here. Myself, Ian, and our whole entire team is here and very well equipped to be able to help you guys and help anybody. We're here as much as we can be. And if, nobody answers, it just means the calls are way too heavy, and leave a message, and I can promise you within 48 hours, we'll get back to you.
Awesome. Had several people ask about the 3M repair kits. Do you sell them?
We do. Mm-hmm.
Well, explain the two types you have.
Well, so we have what's called our boot repair kit, because we use the 3M 4000 UV on the fabrics due to the fact that the 3M would make that for us in black. And, I don't repair wader from the exterior, but a lot of people do. And because of that, we had a lot of people request that glue be in black. So that's why we kind of altered two different types of repair kits. 5200 is the only glue that will adhere to our rubber boots. They do make a 5200 fast cure, but that's only in white. So you have to use that and then spray paint it. So we've kind of eliminated what we offer. So we offer a 5200 3M marine sealant, which is called our boot repair kit. And then we offer a 3M 4000 UV, what we call our wader repair kit. Both are in black.
Awesome. So what kind of camo patterns do you have?
So right now we're currently partnered with Mossy Oak. We offer their Mossy Oak Bottomland. And then we also offer a Mossy Oak Shadowgrass Blades. And then we do offer a plain brown.
Also, I didn't know there was anything other than Bottomland.
Of course you didn't. You're from
This guy says, well, they make me look as good as Jake.
There is not a single product on the planet that will come close.
Product's not going to help with that. No, they got breathable and neoprene. If you go back earlier in the live stream, you'll see I get him to talk about the difference between the two. So check out the earlier part.
Check out the website. Take your time. Read our story. Go to hndoutdoors.com. That's our website. Check it out. And literally everything that we have is right there. We have blogs that will explain the difference between neoprene and breathable. We have blogs that will talk about surf fishing, fly fishing, duck hunting. We have pictures. We have, every type of description is there.
Yeah, awesome. Keep those questions coming, guys. We'll try to get to as many as we can. So no, don't type email in the chat. Don't do that. Just email that email. Okay. So yeah, just keep your questions coming. We'll get to as many as possible. Talk a little bit about your neoprene jacket. I really fell in love with that thing. It's really probably the best rain gear jacket or snow gear jacket I've found. It's perfect for harsh conditions. Talk a little bit about how you come up with that and why it's so good.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head. It's a product for harsh conditions. And in all honesty, that's the first product I ever made years ago because there's a company in California called Kobuk and Cabela's. Were the only two companies that I was familiar with back in 2010 that actually made that style of jacket. And we needed that in the aquaculture industry. We needed something that was 100% windproof, waterproof, and durable, whether it was submerged in water and mud or whether it was brand new out of the box. So when they all discontinued that, that was kind of where my manufacturing began. And we've altered it drastically from what everything had been back in the day to where it is now. And our neoprene jackets are a 3mm body with a 2.5mm sleeve that provide a lot of dexterity for movement. And then we have a gusseted armpit. So when you go to raise your arms, your jacket doesn't ride up and everything move on you. It keeps everything stationary and still. But I can promise you one thing's for certain. I mean, every boat I own, I have a jacket in it. And I don't care whether it's 90 degrees in the summer when a storm comes up and you're, working or you're fishing or doing whatever, you're going to get cold. And you take that jacket out of underneath the bow, your console, wherever. You whip it if it's wet, if it's dry, then put it on. But regardless of whether it's wet or dry, it's still going to keep you warm.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely love that jacket. It's perfect for rain, snow. I mean, it's good anytime, but it's especially good in those harsh conditions.
Absolutely. And too is, when you're riding a boat, here in Virginia, we do, a lot of rock fishing. And when you're running 15, 20 miles in a boat, with that cold air hitting you, it will hit you to your core. And that jacket removes all air penetration on your body. So your whole entire core system stays warm and dry.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. It's great for high wind and long boat runs for sure. I'm going to say it one more time for the giveaway. Notice there's a couple people that missed that email. It's chasinggreenmedia@gmail.com. It's my Instagram contact email. You can also check it out in my about section here on my channel. It's always my contact email. So just email for the giveaway, just email chasinggreenmedia@gmail.com and just email me what you want to see this upcoming duck season on my channel. What kind of content you want to see? What do you like that I typically do? I'm trying to get some content ideas from you guys. So if you win, I'll email you through that email. That'll be the only way I'll contact you. I won't contact you asking for money. There's a lot of scams on YouTube right now, so I'll only contact you through that email. And make sure it's me talking to you if you get a response. Do you carry women's sizes?
Unfortunately, we do not at this current time. We go to a size as small as a size 7. But with our extensive size chart, I have been able to fit about 90% of all of our women customers that have called and asked about sizing. So it's one of those deals that if you are a female, please take the time, get your measurements and give us a call, and I can do our best to help you out.
Awesome. Mike says, if you could add a camo to your line just regarding logistics, what would it be? You got any upcoming plans for camo, or are you going to pretty much keep rolling the same?
I think we are where we are. We've talked to, we've debated and kind of tossed around the idea of maybe potentially reaching out to Realtree and doing other things. But, you got to understand it's, we have 250 SKUs, and adding one just something like, you think adding one camo is it's pretty extensive.
Yeah, no doubt. And really bottomland and shadowgrass and the brown one, I mean, it really covers everything you might run
pretty much covers the gamut. I mean, I'm old school and thinking if by the time you have an animal that can see your camo pattern, if it's not dead, that's your fault.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt that there's certain instances where either shadowgrass stands out in certain environments, it's very obvious, or vice versa, bottomland, if you're in a lot of gold stuff and you're the only dark object out there, which I found bottomland to be the most universal in my opinion. Like I can get just about anywhere and somewhat blend in. Whereas I've seen shadowgrass really stand out, say in the timber. I mean, you're just basically.
Oh, sure. But the other thing too is there's a lot of, we all make fun of designer clothings and things along those lines a lot of times, but everybody wants to match. So, and they want their camo to match. So apparently ducks, don't come in unless camo matches.
Yeah. Chandler asked, how do they hold up in the thorns? Tell them about that little trip I took you on through the thorns and the snakes.
I prefer not to, Jake. Thank you. I think everybody in Southern Arkansas heard me squeal and scream like a little girl. And I don't do snakes. I think we saw more copperheads than we saw mallards that day. But you had me walking through barbed wire fences and some of the most treacherous terrain that you could imagine, and everything was fine. At the end of the day, in all honesty, sometimes it's just how you hit an object. You could walk through a briar patch and never have, your waders leak, or you could walk by one little briar on a tree and just wink at it. And the next thing you know, you have the whole size of Texas in your waders. I have no rhyme or reason for it. At the end of the day, just be conscientious of where your environment or what environment you're in, and realize at the end of the day, it is a fabric. Yeah. But if you walk through it and you put a hole in it, it's simple to fix.
Yeah. I mean, guys, I hunt the flooded timber a lot. I used to hunt a lot more than I do now. And I've worn these waders through every briar patch you can think of. And like you said, you can poke a hole in anything. The first year I did poke a hole in the boot, but it's 100% my fault. I mean, I ran through a beaver hut and there was a sharp, beaver chewed stick. I mean, it's knife edge sharp and it poked right through the boot, but it would have poked through anything. So you got to be somewhat smart. But as far as the wader holding up like I think that it should, it absolutely has. I went through briars, treetops. I mean, like he said, I took these guys on their first trip hunting with me on a 6-mile round trip through the timber. So you walk 40, 50 miles, in a month duck hunting, you're going to come into a lot of hazardous situations. And like I said, I've never poked a hole other than that one hole in the boot. And so that says a lot about that fabric. I've never got a single pinhole in it at all. So I can vouch for those 100%. So moving on. Yeah, Michael, that was a good one. I appreciate you watching that, bud. That was my favorite hunt of the year so far. And yes, Chris, they do have brown. Mm-hmm. So Brian, what's coming up in the future for High and Dry? Are you just coasting now, or are you working on something new? Where are we headed?
Oh, we're always bobbing and weaving and innovating. That's one of those things to be determined. We always have a bun in the oven.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been.
We'll keep everybody posted as time as time is right, and let everybody know what we got on the horizon when it's time.
I'll tell you, I'd like to see a like knee boot made out of that boot, but obviously a little more optimized for just a walk-in knee boot. But if you could make a knee boot of some sort, that would be great.
It sounds like you need to get yourself into the knee boot business.
No, I need a buddy who has a wader business who can easily.
Now we're friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, Mark, they got shirts, they got hats, hoodies, all that good apparel stuff. You can check that out on their website. Their website will always be linked below in my videos in the description. I'll try to link it on this live stream as well. But you guys got plenty of apparel in stock, right?
We are fully stocked.
So fully stocked on everything right now.
On everything, yep.
Talk a little bit. So Brian decided to get in the wader industry right as the biggest pandemic in 100 years hits. Talk about the struggles of that.
You see, I mean, there's a lot of white up there now.
Yeah.
Ian is bald and I am white. Starting a company or launching into a whole new market during a worldwide pandemic is something that I do not advise anybody to do. It has been an uphill battle for the past few years. And I can assure you one of my best phrases is persistence beats resistance. We know what we want. We know how to do what we want. And fortunately enough, myself and Ian are probably the most two stubborn individuals on the planet that follow through, and we do not take no for an answer. So it's been a really tough battle, and we understand that we've upset a lot of people along the way because everybody wants what they want when they want it. And unfortunately, we've not been able to produce. And we feel very comfortably right now at this time and stage in our development of our company that we have finally overcome that mountain. If we feel like we have been to the summit of Mount Everest, to kind of give you an example of the uphill battle that we've faced, and we feel like we're there. And it's a pretty bright future for us, and it's been a long road.
Yeah. Well, I knew it had to have been tough, man. I couldn't even imagine. I'm sure I would have been done with it. The stress of shipping and not being able to get stuff in stock. And, man, I know it had to have been a headache. Joe asked, how did we meet? Man, actually, Joel Strickland from Surviving Duck Season hooked us up. He actually I was going to meet Joel for the first time, and I was complaining about waders. Like, I knew Joel hunted about as much as I do, so he was a good person to talk to about it. And he's like, I'm actually having a meeting with the High and Dry guys. I'll kind of introduce you to them, and y'all can talk. And I grilled Brian for about 30 minutes just asking him the nitty gritty.
Would you like to say what time and day that was?
I don't even remember, but
it was on Saturday afternoon at about 4:00.
Yeah, well, I had a lot of questions. I was kind of done with the industry, mad at it, and man, you really won me over in that conversation, and your story won me over. How you wanted to make a good wader because there wasn't any out there, and I'm so glad that I got hooked up with you guys, and it's been a great ride so far.
It has, and we've been very fortunate to spend some time together, and a lot of good quality time together. And not only do we see eye to eye on a lot of business stuff, I'm blessed to be able to call you my friend.
Sure, absolutely. And that's one thing. And Braden, I appreciate the super chat. Anything helps with inflation this year, buddy. Gas prices have been outrageous on these trips. So I appreciate the super chat, Braden. What's the average lead time at the moment?
We typically ship the same day. If you get orders in by 12 o'clock, they go out the same day.
Adrenaline asked, are we going to hunt together again this year? We hope to. We're trying to plan something now. So would definitely like to get you guys back out here. I really, that last time I brought you was really a test. I was seeing what you guys were really all about.
To see if we could survive. I mean, you threw 3 cottonmouths my way. You know.
I got to say, I was really impressed, man. I was. You guys were about it. We took them on a hellacious public land journey and really put them through what the average person I wouldn't. And so you guys really, I wanted to show you what we do sometimes is what I was trying to do.
I was right beside you, brother.
And it was great. You really impressed me with that. 903S, you got wader patches. Do actual patches come with them?
So we have, and we battle with, our factory. They are human, just like we are, and they do put a wader patch kit that is archaic, that has been done for the past 30 plus years, and they do it from time on, time off. But no, we do not offer a patch kit like that for patches. The 3M glues do not require a patch. It's just glue. And that's why, it's so impressive and it is so effective, because if you're on a 3-day hunt, you don't have time to get back to mainstream and get, iron on a patch or do this or do that. You just massage a glue in and, you finish hunting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, depending, or at dark at 6. Find your hole, massage your glue in, and by 4 o'clock the next morning, you're dry and back at it.
Yeah, and I think people who have never used 5200 or 4000, whichever one you use, it's really hard to explain, and you really have to use it to understand what he's talking about. It really becomes a material in and of itself. It is the patch. When you put it on there, you don't really need a patch with it. It
Basically, it blends in one with the fabric.
Yeah, it basically, yeah, like you said, melts together with the fabric. It's really quite incredible. And it's 100% better than patches. So it'll cover anything that I've seen so far. Is the giveaway for breathable or neoprene, either one, whichever one you wanted. If you win, we'll try to get you. If it's in stock, we'll try to get it to you. Well, you guys got any hunts coming up soon, or?
You haven't invited us.
I didn't know if you had anything else planned this year. You're coming.
We've got we've got a few hunts lined up. I think Ian is heading back out to Eastern Washington and California, and then we might. I'm not sure. We've got a couple things in the works. We haven't finalized. Probably coming to Arkansas. We've got a couple options right now, but until the the rubber meets the road, we're still flexible. So,
Refuge Outdoor Company, man, I appreciate that super chat, buddy. Like I said, this year has been tough, man. Gas and hotels and all that stuff has been eating me up. So, Refuge Outdoor Company, I appreciate you. And Brian, I appreciate you, man. I really do. I thank you for coming on, and they've supported me since really the beginning of this channel, and they really gave me hope again for the wader industry. I've loved working with them. I've loved wearing their waders. I've worn them for 3 seasons now. This is the 3rd season, and it's been a great journey with you guys. And that's what a lot of people don't understand about our business, our industry, like just the duck hunting in general. Sometimes you'll find great products and a terrible company, as in bad people in it. Sometimes you'll find great people who have a bad product. But every once in a while, and it's rare, you find both. You find a company that makes a great product and they're great people. And that's what High and Dry is. They're great guys. And I've really we're really good friends now. It's not really a business thing anymore. And I really appreciate you for supporting my channel. If you guys want to see my content keep coming, High and Dry support me, and I'll try my best to support them. So go check out High and Dry if you haven't yet. They will get you fixed up in a reliable pair of waders.
You got it.
And just before we hop off here, the giveaway's already been done. You can go back and rewatch this. I talked about it a couple of times. And you guys go check out their website. I'll try to link it down below. You can see everything about sizing, all their other products on there. They got a ton of stuff, and highly recommend it. So, Brian, I appreciate you joining me tonight, buddy, and everything you've done.
My pleasure, man.
You and Ian both. We'll have to get Ian on next time.
Yep. We can't wait to see you soon.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, guys. And Lord willing, I'll be out with another video tomorrow, so be sure and catch that.